The Jim and Terry Show, where all things are discussed reasonably, rationally, calmly, and coolly.
And we can be wrong. We can be wrong, like everybody else.
I love agnosticism for that reason, that we don't know for sure any of these things. We're just the Jim and Terry Show. I do know with absolute certainty that I liked my coffee this morning.
The coffee was good this morning, and the peanut butter and the
peanut butter on special sandwich
and cinnamon
bread.
and
cinnamon on your applesauce this morning.
Applesauce.
Yeah.
Terry fed me well today. It was really, really good, and I
Food for
appreciate
thought.
it. Yes, and yeah, it was good.
So let's do some serious thinking. What do you think of RFK Jr. running as a Democrat?
Well, here's what I think, and I could be completely wrong, but I've watched him, and I know he's getting funding from Republicans as well as Democrats. Isn't that a wealthy? How could that happen?
Well, you got.
This couldn't be for the money, could it? No, it couldn't be for the
We're
money.
in
Where
the
you?
money.
He also announced that he would legalize all drugs, like
Hallucinogens?
Yes. And I'm thinking, okay, that shouldn't get you real marks in the conservative world.
No.
So that might get marks in the Democratic. I'm not sure. And I came to the conclusion, and he's going to make a bundle of money.
Regardless.
Running for president. It's like Bernie Sanders, right? He always runs and he always ends up having his name in the news. So these guys get invited to speak at conferences. They get invited to talk here. They're asked to be on TV shows like CNN and other places. You make a lot of money. And that's why people run to be mayor, and they run to be when they know they have no chance. I don't think he wants to be the president of the United States at all.
I don't think he could be the president of the United States.
I disagree with a lot of his policies. We talked on one of our previous shows where he's indicating that NATO made advancements. NATO cannot not make advancements if countries want to join them. They join them out of fear of an aggressive country. And in this particular case, that one aggressive country really is Russia.
Yeah,
I don't even think you can count China.
RFK Jr. really does seem to be pro-Putin, pro-Russia.
Yeah, and that'll guarantee you, I don't know what, an extra few bucks in your speaking tour when people don't know the history of it. They say Russia won the war. Russia was one of the people. Russia wouldn't have won the Second World War if it hadn't have been for all the other allies. They were one person that contributed greatly, one country that contributed greatly to the winning of that war. Now, they're concerned about Germany. I can understand that. I really can understand that. But that's just one of the things. It doesn't make Russia great in what it wants to do.
No.
Take over whole other countries that don't want to be there. I mean, maybe they could learn from Canada. When Quebec wanted to leave, we had a referendum. And they said, what happens if they vote to leave? They're leaving.
Well, didn't the
Brexit's another example.
Provinces in eastern Ukraine, did they not have a referendum? Isn't that where they all were forced and escorted to vote?
100% they wanted to stay, I think, wasn't it? 100% wanted to stay.
Something like that, yes. Okay, so you can have a referendum, you can leave. Our point on RFK Jr. was to say that he's pro-Russia. What other policies or beliefs that RFK Jr. represents might be troublesome?
Well, I guess legalizing everything that is. That might be troublesome, and he wants to use the money to fund the medical treatment for those who are addicted to such things. So to me, that's an evil unto itself. I mean, it's like the Ontario Liquor Board, saying drinking's bad for you. Don't drink it. Look at these glorious ads. Look at these wonderful.
Yes, the Food and Drink magazine.
Yeah, the Food and Drink magazine. So what it is really, it's a revenue gaining thing. So Kennedy wants to use those who are on narcotics in order to build revenue, not realizing that maybe some of that spin-off really will end up costing the country. I don't know, and I don't really care. But what I'm saying is those kind of statements, those kind of beliefs really can stop you from winning or hinder it. But it's also a great way to get you on that speaking tour when you're done, especially with the college kids.
He's going to get on a speaking tour because he's anti-vax. He's been an anti-vaxxer for a long time. And the most recent one is, of course, his anti-vax COVID vaccine. But he's linked, he's still making the assertions on Joe Rogan. If you go and check Joe Rogan's YouTube with RFK Jr., he's saying a lot of stuff that is just on the face of it fake news and false information. And he is spewing it, and Joe Rogan is head bobbing, yeah. And this is reprehensible to me.
Well, Joe Rogan can't go no.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't cut it back
Because
on the show.
he knows his audience.
Yeah, and
he
he
knows
knows
who
the
they are,
money.
and they love him.
Yes.
They love him.
Yeah.
It's like Oprah. Oprah can back anything. She can destroy anyone for
Yep.
those who love Oprah.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if it's truth, it's right, you know.
Yep.
Look at Dr. Oz. That's an Oprah off
Yep.
spin.
Yep.
And the guy sort of proved to be a wacko, you know, and making money on things that don't work.
Right.
This is what you get. But there are Dr. Oz fans who think he's going to be the greatest thing on the face of earth no matter what is found out about the guy. Like Trump. People love Trump. Don't matter that he lies. Doesn't matter that he cheats. Doesn't matter that he's been indicted for all kinds of things and put to court for all kinds. He's their man. He's the God sent. I don't get it because I can't even think of a real policy he actually put into place that worked. I can't even think of one. There may be one, is there?
I can't recall.
I can't recall either. No. You know, just saying I'm going to make America great by giving money back to the people who are giving money to me.
Yes.
And I'm a conservative. I'm just telling you the way it is, folks. Everybody's got to wake up to
You can't say he's conservative in this political climate anymore.
No, I don't even
exist.
know what I am anymore.
Well, let's say that you're just oriented towards helping other people maximize
Yeah, and also
their own
being
potential.
responsible, you know, what you say.
You mean
a
a civic?
Help me.
What's the word? I don't know where you're going.
When
You're a fiscal conservative.
Thank you, jeepers.
It means you better not spend more than you got in your wallet.
Well, yeah,
That's
you
all.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the way I am. I'm all for helping people and everything else.
Yes.
But I'm not really for getting people to be addicted to something and then banking on that money coming in to help my country, and that would include LCBO.
Okay.
You know, they up that. Oh, we're up in the taxes.
Keeping
So
with
you
RFK Jr.
all right. Well,
Ontario
I'm
aside.
a squirrel. You know.
Okay. I would have trouble voting for RFK Jr. just because he is what I would call an anti-science. And what I would say is his history of anti-vax preaching. I don't know how many deaths he could be directly linked to, but when you preach anti-vax and you're including all the communicable diseases that are currently being treated by vaccines and vaccine therapies, and you're saying you're anti-vax, I got a problem.
Why is
you're
he
dangerous?
Why does he have a problem with all of those things? Like
He
we had
believes-
diphtheria, malaria, all this different stuff, and
He believes that vaccines can be traced to creating illnesses. For instance, he links autism with vaccines, and that's demonstrably false and has been disproven, and he's still repeating it, and people still repeat his repetition of that fake news. Autism is not caused by vaccines. Period. End of discussion.
I think I got an argument in your favor, not with autism, but I know sometime 1812 or something, or 1830s in the United States, I think if you reached 50, you were considered old.
Yeah,
you really
yeah.
made it, man. You really put your time in. They didn't have any vaccines whatsoever back in that day. Not one thing. We're living longer. We're living healthier, better lives. Just put those facts together. Since vaccines came in, and I think they were developed in the 30s, maybe the 20s.
Well, they've been around for a while. Yeah.
Have they? Well, whenever they've been around, you think we would now be a bunch of absolute mentally disturbed or whatever, or not even live any further. So if you think about the average lifespan back 200 years, where they had none of these vaccines or anything else, and then you think about what we got today, that alone tells you that these things aren't killing people off.
Well, there's a lot of people who believe RFK Jr., and to me, this is the beginning of the unraveling of a society when you do not trust your institutions. For an example, I had a discussion, email exchange or comment exchange about a certain person, and I said RFK Jr. is anti-vax and anti-science, and they said, well, no, he's not. And I said, well, he's on McGill University's list of the 12 worst spreaders of fake information about vaccines. And I trust McGill University and their medical research. I do not trust RFK Jr. I don't even know if he's got a degree in anything.
What was the reply that came back? That
There was no reply. No, there's no
you know?
reply. It's always you choose what you're going to believe. And I chose to follow the institutions, the learning, the Ontario Medical Association, the Canadian Medical Association, Dr. Tam, who's our National Director of Health. I follow the institutions. I don't distrust them. But if you distrust government, if you distrust institutions, if you distrust all the status quo, including, you might throw in legacy media, mainstream media. If you distrust it all, you're limiting yourself to what you can access in terms of belief and truth.
Well, isn't that the plan? That is this world plan. The plan is to not trust anybody. And then if you're not trusting anybody, I trust you're not going to doctors. I trust you're not going to dentists. I trust you're not doing any of that stuff. You're not sending your kids to school. I trust that you don't believe any of it. You see, it's all designed, and it only came to light for me when Trump decided to come in and immediately said, fake news, fake. You can't trust these news, because he knew they were going to come after him because the things he did.
Because they checked their sources.
Yeah, well, whatever.
They know history.
But
know
it's gone
context.
Downhill from there. None of us are trusting anybody.
We're going downhill, Jim. We're going down. Two
Tell me
old
about it.
guys with a coffee and too much time to think. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.